Assalamu alaikum, family. This is Ryan X coming to you live on here. Hope you're happy God day. This is the day that Allah has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. No matter if it's Friday, Saturday, whatever. Even if it's Monday or Tuesday. Yes, the dreaded Mondays. Every day is a day that Allah has allowed us to see, and we will rejoice in it because in Him we have the fiber of our being, and we should be thankful to Him. So I know people say thank God it's Friday. Well, we thank God for every day because every day is another chance for us to to redeem ourselves, to do something better than what we did the day previous. So always keep that in mind. In the likelihood that you're having one of those days, because we know in this life a little rain must fall. Always remember this. Tough times don't last, tough people do. Keep your hope, trust, and faith in Allah God, and He will see you through. I could definitely bear witness to that. So, today, August 29th, is the 20-year commemoration. I don't want to say anniversary because anniversaries are happy events, happy occasions. And Katrina was not a happy event or a happy occasion. It was a disaster. Uh, um, the aftermath was a man-made disaster. We know it was nature, a disaster from nature, but also was exacerbated by man. Um, it's the 20-year commemoration of Hurricane Katrina, which destroyed the Gulf Coast of the United States, uh, Alabama, Mississippi, and we know Louisiana, particularly New Orleans. Thousands of people lost their lives. It could have been prevented, but we know the good old United States government, the Army Corps engineers, did a piss poor job with the levees because the levees broke, and that's when the floodwaters just came and destroyed certain parts of the city of New Orleans. Again, thousands of people lost their lives, many in the aftermath. Um, we saw thousands of people being crowded into the Louisiana Superdome, which is home of the New Orleans Saints. Thousands of people crowded in there. There was no AC. Um, People couldn't get water. They could not use the bathroom. There was a reporter who said that he was staying in the Superdome and he had to take a crap, and he took a crap on the floor in the hallway of the Superdome. People were doing that, defecating like cats and dogs. Um, there were reports of people being raped, little girls being raped, women being raped, sodomized. There were reports of people, all kind of all. It was just the worst. It brought out the worst in humanity. The worst in humanity. Yes, rest in peace to all the souls who were lost, to all ones lost. Excuse me. May Allah be pleased with them. All those who were lost in Katrina, may Allah be pleased with them. My condolences go out to those thousands of families, their loved ones, of those that were lost. It was so upsetting, just to see how these people were treated. They were called refugees because, and this is just so upsetting. It get me emotional. They were put on planes. They were put on planes and flew throughout the United States. I remember I was stationed in Wyoming, Cheyenne, Wyoming. There were a family. There were teenagers. I think they lost their parents. They didn't have any relatives. It was just these teenage children. They put them on the plane and flew them to Denver, Colorado. They didn't have any family in Denver. They were flying people to Atlanta, to New York, to LA, to Seattle, to Portland. I mentioned Denver, Miami. No, Miami was not Miami. I said Atlanta. To San Antonio, which is close to New Orleans, closer than Denver, to Dallas. A lot of the people, the evacuees, not refugees, the evacuees who evacuated the city of New Orleans, thousands of them moved to Houston. Houston is about 6 hours from New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken. Houston is close. It's closer. San Antonio is closer. Dallas is a little ways, but it's still in the state of Texas, the neighboring state from Louisiana. But to Denver, Salt Lake City was another city. These folks had no families in Denver and Salt Lake City, Utah. They were flying them there. Like, oh, okay, they were getting them on the plane, and wherever that plane went, that's wherever that plane landed, that was their new home. They didn't have no idea where this plane was going. They didn't know if the plane was going to Houston or London. They didn't know. They were just told to get on the plane, don't ask questions, just get on the damn plane. The way they were treating these people was so upsetting. It still is. Like it was their fault that Katrina hit New Orleans. Like they planned Katrina. Before I go any further, hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button now, hit the subscribe button so you get notifications of whenever I do videos on here. Some Katrina victims came to, yes, the DMV. They sure did. New York. They were just flying them all over the country. Get on the plane. Where are we going? Shut up. Don't ask any questions. Just get on the damn plane. All you have is the clothes on your back or on your backs if it's more than one person. Get on the plane. Get on the plane. It's crazy. Hold on 1 second. Have I mentioned that I hate this goddamn vacuum cleaner? Okay. Well, I hate this goddamn vacuum cleaner because it's loud and it makes me project my voice. Now that I'm speaking at a normal decibel, um, you went to college with a couple of them. Okay, they wouldn't did it if hurricane struck. No, they wouldn't have done. Well, okay, funny you mentioned that. Thank you, brother Steph. You bring me to my next point. So Algiers, Louisiana, which is across the bridge, across the Mississippi from New Orleans, is predominantly white. You have some black families that stay in Algiers. So those who didn't want to stay in the Superdome or in the convention center, they ventured across the bridge into Algiers. Now, I just told you Algiers is predominantly white. You do have black families over there. There were white men that had made signs that saying looters will be shot and killed. And the people that ventured over there were men, women, and children who just wanted to find shelter. And you had white men driving around shooting at these people that were evacuating New Orleans, going into Algiers. They were shooting at them and killing them. There was one report, one story. Well, this is actually known. This was actually reported on the news, and there's evidence of this happening. There was a man who was shot and killed in Algiers. They drove his body. No, it was two men, two brothers, white men. They were in Algiers. One guy was brutally beaten. His brother was shot and killed, and they burned his body, burnt the car, and burnt his body to hide the evidence. Yes, and Algiers is affluent. Algiers is an affluent suburb of New Orleans. They burnt this man's body after they shot and killed him. Burnt his car up, try to hide the evidence. These evil demons, these savage, uncivilized savages, uncivilized mutts, like my brother Willie D says a lot. These devils, cave devils, were riding around killing black men and women and laughing and joking about it. It's bad enough that you lost your home. It's even worse that you lost your loved ones. You have nothing. Family members are gone. Your belongings are gone, your possessions, car, homes, vehicles, homes. You're out in that hot New Orleans sun after this natural disaster. You're trying to find shelter. You can't get water. You can't get food. You try to go somewhere for help, and you have demons, low life pieces of shit shooting at you like you're a terrorist. Katrina brought the worst out of humanity. It did. I was telling my mother this yesterday. It brought the worst out of humanity. It shows you people's ill will toward people in distress. Yes, you had snakes and alligators. People were walking through those floodwaters, not knowing if it was water moccasins, if there were alligators. The alligators got to eat, not knowing. There were reports of people being killed by alligators, bitten by poisonous snakes, on top of being shot at, on top of not having water or food. There were video, there was footage of people running to the stores, getting water, trying to get water and food, and the National Guard pulling out guns at them. What were they supposed to do? What the hell were they supposed to do? The water that's gonna get hot. The water. Why leave it there? Why not give it out to the people? The food that hasn't spoiled. Why not give it to the people? Why didn't uh other parts of other towns in Louisiana or in Texas or just surrounding areas donate sandwiches, donate water to the people? They had the money. These people needed food. They needed water. People were dying of dehydration. Babies couldn't get their formula. The elderly couldn't get their insulin because insulin has to be refrigerated. There was no electricity. You had the National Guard helicopters, the Army helicopters, flying over people on their roofs saying, please save us. Well, they were shooting at us. They were shooting up in the air because they were trying to get the attention of the helicopters to come down and save them. Of FEMA, the FEMA helicopters. They were trying to get their attention. They weren't shooting guns at the helicopters. That's ridiculous, and that's a lie. They were shooting up in the air to get their attention. Hey, hey, hey. They were off in the distance, shooting. Hey, hey, you hear that gunfire? It's coming from this direction. Please save us. Come down, save us. And they were flying past them. They're shooting guns at us. No, they were not shooting guns at y'all. They were trying to get your attention. The people that were doing it reported that. They're in a documentary. They're like, we weren't shooting at the helicopters. We was trying to get their attention. FEMA, we was trying to get their attention. It was just disgusting. Yeah, COVID, yeah, it did, but I think Katrina, I think Katrina may have COVID beat. Kanye West, I remember that. That was on MTV when they were doing the telethon to raise money for the victims of Katrina. It was Michael Myers, no, Mike Myers, aka Mike Myers, who plays Austin Powers, and Kanye West. And Kanye West said, George Bush don't care about black people. Well, Kanye West was 1,000% correct because George W. Bush, who was president at that time, did not give a goddamn about black people, particularly in New Orleans. Neither did Condoleezza Rice. They were more concerned with Afghanistan, well, really, Iraq. That's where all the funding was going, to fight the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. They did not give a damn about American citizens in the American city. I remember it vividly. I was in the military. I got out a year later in '06, but I mentioned earlier in this video, I was stationed in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And we would see the reports on CNN, on Fox, on MSNBC, on the local stations there, on the local stations, because Cheyenne, we got Denver, the Denver stations, the Denver news stations. So we were seeing reports out of Denver, the local news out there in Denver, which is the main affiliate, about, and in Cheyenne too, about what was going on in with New Orleans. It's like every day. I donated money to the relief efforts to the victims. I don't know if they got it or not. Allah knows that my heart was in the right place because I survived a hurricane. I had empathy to the survivors of Katrina. I could relate to what they were going through because yours truly survived Hurricane Andrew 13 years before Katrina. Hurricane Andrew hit Miami in 1992. Almost the same time, August 23rd, 24th, 1992. I was in it. I could write a book on it. I survived a hurricane. And that, like brother said, that New Orleans humidity is no joke. Well, let me tell you, brother, that Miami humidity is just as bad. Because after Andrew left and dissipated, we had to deal with that heat, that humidity, no electricity. Thank God we had water, but we had to conserve it. We couldn't take showers. We had no AC because we had no electricity. We had a transistor radio. That's the only thing we had. The food, my uncle had cooked some food. We had to eat that. We had to eat the food, eat as much as possible, and we had to put it on ice. The food the leftovers that we had to put it on ice because my aunt was able to. Well, she had some ice cubes. She was able to keep them in a cooler for the time being. So we had to store our food in a cooler. And then when we wanted to eat it, we had to set it out, let it warm up, naturally because we couldn't use the oven, we couldn't use the microwave because we didn't have any goddamn electricity. We had to do that for almost 2 weeks, for over a week, damn near 2 weeks. So I understand what they were going through. I can empathize with them. Those who survived Hurricane Sandy that hit New York and New Jersey, I can empathize with them. So I sent money, hundreds of dollars to what I thought was relief efforts for Katrina again. And it was through the American Red Cross, now that I think about it. So they probably didn't get that money. But back then I didn't know better. I thought the American Red Cross I thought they were doing the right thing. Now I know better. But this was 20 years ago. I was 29 years old. Um, I was still gullible to believe that the American Red Cross would do the right thing, but I doubt if those people got the money. So it's just sad what happened down there. Um, and my wife and I went to New Orleans January 2023. So almost 18 years after Katrina. We went down there, yeah, January 2023, 2 weeks before Mardi Gras. And I think it's the Ninth Ward. We was going to this park. I forgot the name of the park, but at this park, and it's a historical site. Andrew Jackson had a battle there at the Battle of New Orleans. It was a battle fought at this park, historical site. Forgot the name of that damn park. But any event, we were going there. We took a lift, and we were going across the bridge, one of the bridges. I forgot what bridge it was. And the lift driver said, "You see that? I used to live there. That's Ninth Ward." And there were only very few homes there. The ground had been pushed back. It eroded from Hurricane Katrina, and they were rebuilding houses there. But the houses that they were rebuilding, they were being built on stilts. I found that to be very interesting. The few homes that were there were being built on stilts. All them homes were gone, but it was just maybe about 10 or 15 homes there, and they were built on stilts. So they're still suffering the after effects of Katrina. New Orleans will never be the same, and it hasn't been the same since. And that disaster was 20 years ago today. And it's just a shame how this government treated its citizens. The comments that were being made, these savages they're looting. When animals are in survival mode, they will do whatever they need to do to survive. Human beings are no different. When we're in survival mode, we will do what we need to do. We will find food and find water by any means necessary. They weren't being violent. They were just taking things because they needed to survive. What were they supposed to do? Wait on the National Guard to save them? Wait on the Bush administration to save them? Wait on FEMA to save them? They didn't give a damn. There were people dying right there in front of them. And just the attitudes of these soldiers and first responders and the Bush administration. Ray Nagin was on the news cussing out the Bush administration on the phone. We need goddamn buses down here. I got men, women, and babies and old ladies dying. And they were pointing the blame at him. The citizens were pointing blame at Ray Nagin, who was the mayor of New Orleans at the time, because he was more concerned with the French Quarter. Oh, by the way, Ray Nagin ended up going to prison for 10 years for embezzlement. He was sentenced in 2014 and he was released just last year. Ray Nagin, the former mayor, who was mayor of New Orleans during this time. But Ray Nagin shouldn't have been the only one who, he was just a scapegoat. He was a scapegoat. They needed to make an example out of somebody. So they said, nigga, we're going to make an example out of you. But the governor of Louisiana, I forgot her name, she should have been got into some hot water too, as well as the director of FEMA, who cowardly retired. He should have been in some hot water too, along with Ray Nagin. Shouldn't just been him that failed. A lot of people should have failed too. A lot of people should have been taken down, not just Ray Nagin. So it's just sad what happened. I know Spike Lee did a documentary. I think it was 2 years after Katrina. Yeah, I think in 2007. Forgot the name of the documentary. It was on HBO, but it was very, 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 very good. Ryan Coogler and his wife Zinzi, they did a documentary that was on National Geographic last month, and there's one on Netflix now that my mother was telling me about. So, and there's stuff still coming out about Katrina, the aftermath that we don't know. There's stories still coming out. Just, I hated to see my people like that. I hated to see it. And there was a hurricane in 1965 that hit New Orleans that did significant damage. And the Army Corps of Engineers had known for 40 years prior to Katrina that those levees weren't feasible, because in 65 the same thing happened. New Orleans flooded. But they ignored it, and look what happened. So the Army Corps Engineers, the director, whomever, who's over the Army Corps Engineers, should have done life in prison. I'm sorry. You want to go after Ray Nagin for stealing money, embezzling money, allegedly? The Army Corps Engineers were responsible for lives being lost, for property being damaged. New Orleans will never be the same. The director of the Army Corps Engineers, whoever heads it, should have been behind bars for life without the possibility of parole, as well as FEMA, as well as those in the Bush administration and the National Guard. Didn't make any sense, because it was poor black people or niggas that y'all didn't give a damn about, and some poor white people. But this never would have happened had the hurricane hit West Palm Beach. Y'all wouldn't have treated them that way. Look what happened when that hurricane hit. Hurricane Sandy hit the Outer Banks of New Jersey and sections of Queens and Brooklyn, where white people live. Sheepshead Bay in Brooklyn, that's a white area. The Outer Banks of Queens, all white areas. Italians and Jews. They wouldn't have dared treat them that way. I witnessed it. I witnessed the aftermath of Sandy, because I went up there to New York to work with my job. So I saw the way they were treated, as opposed to the way though the people were treated in New Orleans. Both are American citizens, but that's where it ends because one has the complexion for the protection, and the others don't. And God is not mocked. God will not. God is not mocked. The way you treated those American citizens, those men, women, and children, old and young, able-bodied, disabled, you will pay. You will pay. My condolences goes out to the families of the people lost uh, during the storm and in the aftermath, which was worse than the actual storm itself. May Allah be pleased with those who were lost. I'm still upset about it because it was wrong. It was a crime what happened. And Ray Nagin shouldn't have been the only one that failed. Ray Nagin, could he have done better? Sure. He could have done things better. So yes, he's to blame, but not the whole blame. He can only do so much. He could only do so much. But the people who were able to get the resources to the people, they the ones who should have been held accountable. They the ones who should have been punished for not doing what they were supposed to be doing. But y'all went after Ray Nagin. Just a damn shame. I'm gonna hop off of here, y'all. I think I was able to get my point across. I hope that I was. Hope and pray that I was. If so, um, drop your comments. I would love to see your comments in the chat or your comments on this video. Drop your comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel. I would love to hear them. I don't. I can't imagine what anybody who would disagree with me on this. Anyone would disagree with me on this topic, but in the likelihood, and I'm just covering all bases, that there are those out there who disagree with me. Let's agree to disagree without being disagreeable. In our disagreements, let's use logic, common sense, facts, and respect, not emotion and disrespect. That'll get you nowhere. So share this video, share it, share it, share it. I meant to say that on my last video too. Share my videos, share it, share it, share it. Especially this one. Let's have the conversation. Let's flood the algorithm with these videos, please. Support my YouTube channel, my future projects. It'd be greatly appreciated. I thank y'all for y'all love and support. I don't take it for granted. I need it. So please continue it. And I thank y'all for rocking with me all these years. Please continue to support your brother. Brothers as well as sisters, y'all be safe out here. It's a 3-day weekend, the last holiday weekend for the summer. So whether y'all going away or staying in your local areas, doing a cookout, or just staying at home watching the football games, whatever you may be doing, beware and be aware. Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy now more than ever before. So now is not the time to be letting our guard down in this hour. We have to be on the alert. I love y'all. Have a blessed rest of your day. Have a blessed 3-day weekend. I will talk to y'all sooner than later, inshallah. And I love y'all. I really do. And take care. And my condolences to the families who lost people in Katrina. May Allah be pleased with those who were lost. Let's never forget them. And let's never forget what happened in New Orleans. Please. On that note, y'all, I'm out. Assalamu alaikum. Take care.